Let's go. What's up, everybody? We are live and direct. We have an awesome show, a segment for you. Right now, we have some special guests. We're going to speak about the volatile, high emotion situation about the library. Christy, your quick thoughts before we hand it over to the guests that were there yesterday. Christy, this is a crazy situation. There's even national attention about other books. They might even be part of these books. What's your overall thought about the whole thing, sis, from seeing it yesterday, live streaming it, to the blowback from MRT? Your thoughts, Christy? Go ahead.
I just think that it is a testament to some of the evil and wicked people that live amongst us.
Yeah.
I think that the names that are being called and the things that are being said are absolutely horrific, and we'll get into more of that. But I think as we delve into more of the topics tonight, really talking about that this was never about a ban for any book, that more light will be shed upon what we're trying to discuss.
Amen. Okay, so our special guests, are y'all there?
We're here.
Okay.
Yes, we're here.
Okay, so real quick, we show up at 9:00. What were y'all's overall thoughts about the whole proceeding leading up to this point? What do y'all want to, start with the intro? Because I want to play a clip from Pastor Roy Smith before we get too deep into this conversation. What were y'all's thoughts going into this? Are y'all used to doing this kind of stuff? Go ahead.
No, I am not used to doing this kind of stuff. I just got involved in attending the courthouse and having to get up there and speak for what I feel is good for my community when it started to involve the children. And my thoughts going up there were, I was kind of nervous because I knew that there was going to be a lot of people there, and I wasn't, from all the stuff that I'm seeing online, it seems like a lot of people are getting upset about the simple fact that we don't want sexually explicit books, materials in the library in the youth and children's section. And seeing all that back and forth online, I figured it was going to be worse in person. And when we got to the courthouse, it was really packed.
Yeah.
However, I was delighted to learn that the majority of the people that packed into that courthouse were in favor of moving the books from the children and young adult section, which, let me just emphasize that young adult is anybody under the age of 18. So the majority of those people were in favor of relocating the books. So it was a relief to know that when I showed up there was a lot of people in alignment with what I was hoping for and wanting to do within our community.
Amen. Brother, you want to give a quick opening statement before I play this clip? Go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, it was a great turnout for our side. A lot of people showed up, spoke out, which I love seeing that stuff. Even if you're on the other side of it, at least we get the ball rolling. At least we get the conversation started. At least we see where the ball really falls on which side of the fence. And to me, it was just great to see.
Amen. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into this whole topic because it was very interesting. There was some I'm going to say interesting characters without being too, speaking too bad about some people that I saw up there. But we'll get into that, y'all, ladies and gentlemen. It's basically we're having a problem. Guys, I've seen it nationwide. We're having issues with these books. And the stuff that I saw the Senator Kennedy read, this stuff right here is crazy. The comic books that I was just sent right now, this is not regular, kind of material. This is stuff that will make you blush. This is not, I'm almost 40, and this stuff is very sexual, and it's targeted for children. So with that, I want to play a special clip. Shout out to True Light and shout out to Pastor Roy Smith. This is his statement. I believe when he gave his statement, ladies and gentlemen, people in the comments, that, man, he set the tone. Because I believe when we walked in there, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the people that was saying that people raided the library, he was kind of smug. And he said that he wants to get past this. Like, he was basically complaining about doing his job. And I told him, you work for us. But I like what Pastor Roy Smith said. This is an opening statement, y'all. We're going to play this while we get into this whole situation and topic. It's very interesting. Let's go.
Look it up. Pastor Roy Smith.
Good morning, Court. I am Pastor Roy Smith. My address is 3709 South County Road 1096. I really don't want to be here, but I have to be here because I represent an authority in this community. And what we are experiencing today, comments from the last lady and some others, there's a higher order in our existence than the Commissioner's Court, and you'll answer to it one day. So your vote today and what you do in the future about our kids, you don't have to like me. You don't have to like the policy, because there are 2 or 3 of you I don't like at all because of what you represent. Don't laugh at me. I didn't laugh at you.
I'm just smiling.
No, don't laugh at me.
I'm not laughing. I'm just smiling.
Okay? So with all having said that, this court and this community, that library belongs to the community. And if the parents don't want certain books there, I don't know what book she's read, but the books that I've read, I don't want to read. With some of the material that's in them about genitals and clitoris and all this kind of sexual activity, I don't want my kids reading. I don't want to read that stuff. I counsel grown men who struggle with pornography because they started off at an early age, because it was in a place where they shouldn't have been able to get to it. But they got to it in their lives today with their wives and their children. There have been divorces and everything else that started with this kind of material. I was in a battle with Kent Quick Stores years ago in another city over a young artistic girl that got raped by material that she had bought her grandfather had bought in that store, and used that material to excite him, and he ended up raping his granddaughter. 3 grand juries found that material obscene. None of them would vote to get it out because he was a businessman in the community. We better check our morals, because you're going to answer, sir, to a higher standard.
Thank you, sir.
And with that, y'all, we're going to open up the show. What were y'all's thoughts on what, Pastor Roy Smith said? I think he brung it. He set the tone. I was really impressed by Pastor Roy Smith for taking a stand. Go ahead.
No, you're absolutely right. He did exactly that. He went up there. He brought the fire and the thunder. He set the tone. And honestly, I think he kind of shook the nerves out of everybody that was going to speak that day, because I know a lot of people were nervous, and to see him go up there and speak with authority and speak truth to what's going on in our libraries, it was a great statement from him.
I totally agree.
Yeah,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. I feel like that his presence there, that it was necessary and it was needed, and I'm just glad that he showed up and he brought his people with him too, and no fear. Like he said, he's there because he wanted to be. And I'm sure there's a lot of the parents and grandparents that have jobs in other places that they needed to be at, but they made the time and they were there because it's important. And I'm just glad that he showed up.
Yeah, and to be honest, I like what the youth pastor said. What we accept now in a little bit, in a little amount, later on, our generations are going to accept it in a big amount. He said it a better way. But guys, this is the problem with this stuff. You let this stuff creep in, and you never know where it's going to twist and turn. So it was a lot of emotions. What were y'all's thoughts on the speakers? Because I'm gonna be honest, the librarian went up there. I think she's one of the first ones that spoke. I believe what's happening, I don't know if y'all agree with this or not, but there's an agenda. Basically what we're having a meeting for is the librarian did not fulfill the order of the court, correct? She wanted a signed paperwork with a date and a name. She used the legality, I believe, to stall the process. But we were there because basically the librarian is not doing her job. As far as doing what they need to do with the books. Is that a fair statement, or can y'all clarify that?
Well, I don't know the inner workings of the Commissioner's Court, but I do know that Commissioner Anderson has been working on this issue diligently. She has not let up, and she's been doing very well for the community as far as seeking action. She's been wanting results in action, and a lot of us had filled out forms back in March, and given the fact that it's almost half a year later, I think that Commissioner Diane Anderson, I believe that's where she realized that she's going to have to step in and try to help the process move a little bit smoother. I do know that just from being in that courtroom, I can tell that a lot of people truly are just frustrated with the library director's actions as far as they're not enough. A lot of people felt like she wasn't or has not been doing her job, or that it wasn't, that the issue might have not been as important to her, because why was it taking so long? And I want to go back to Pastor Roy. Sounds like he's talking to somebody directly, because he says, I don't know what books you are talking about. When he was doing that, he was referring to, there was a woman there in a green looking gown dress.
Yes.
And he was talking to her. And then he had also kind of addressed his opening statement towards he didn't know what book she was talking about. That's the person he is talking to indirectly, but at the same time, that's who he was referring to. And that girl in that green dress, I do remember in her statement, she said that she had a chance to look at the books that the volunteers had pulled. I don't know how she did that, because at the beginning of the opening statement for the commissioners' courts to discuss, Commissioner Diane Anderson said that the books that were pulled from the shelves, those volunteers were told to stick it on a shelf, like a little cart, and that cart was going to be locked up for the library director and the commissioner's court to go through. So how did the girl in the green dress or green gown, how was she able to look through the books that the volunteers were able to pull? So when you talk about, is there conspiracy or corruption, I don't know how far that goes, but there's things that make you just, things that make you go, how are you able to look at those books when she just said earlier they were locked up?
Well, I want to just respond to one thing, and I don't know, I wasn't at the meeting, so I loved Pastor Roy Smith's statement, but I thought that he was absolutely on point. Those books and the excerpts that I have seen from some of the books were nothing less than soft porn. But the one thing that I did want to say is, unfortunately, we know that the library director has been deceitful at least twice. She stated that all of the books that were deemed inappropriate by some of the community of Midland were now locked behind her desk. And we absolutely know that's fictitious. That did not happen. So there's been so many back and forths with all this that it does make you wonder how the lady in the green was able to see those books.
And also, this lady is spearheading this whole movement. She's saying that they're calling for her for help and all this stuff. Let's make this clear, though, right? The court done ruled on this, correct? These books are to be pulled and put into another section. Can we clarify that?
Right now, what the court is stating is that any age inappropriate material needs to be pulled from the children and youth section, meaning any sexually explicit material needs to be pulled from the eyes of anybody under the age of 18. In regards to the woman that said that people are asking her for help, or I don't know if she was saying that librarians are asking her for help. I don't know how true that is. I do vaguely kind of remember her saying that, but I don't know if she works for the library. I don't know if she works for some organization where she has the the ability or the knowledge or whatever expertise to be able just to help librarians. I thought that's why the library was affiliated to other organizations, that's where the librarians go and get their education from. I don't know that they have to result to somebody within one person within their community for help. And if the librarians actually need help, why don't they ask the commissioner's court? Because they work under the commissioner's court. They shouldn't have to ask someone else for help within like one individual person. Why aren't they asking the commissioners for help if they need help?
It's kind of
It's kind of redundant.
Well, it's kind of hypocritical because they're getting mad because Diane Anderson got some help, right? But they're over there using this woman in the green for help, supposedly.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I don't understand what's so hard about protecting the innocence of all of our children, not just my children, but your children, all of our children. And there was an individual that said that when she goes to the library with her grandkids, that there might be a book that her granddaughter might get, and then it's her parents' responsibility to tell her. And I'm like, no, you're the grandparent. You should be able to step in and tell your granddaughter if she's gonna do something that's not gonna be good for her. I just saw so many people speaking and saying things that was it was so silly to me. I couldn't understand the ridiculousness and the agenda that why do you want to keep this there in that section? I am not for banning books. We are not for burning books. We're not for throwing those books out of the library. All the people there were just saying was, can we just move them somewhere else where little 5-year-olds can't look at them? Little 12-year-olds looking for a brand new comic book won't sit there on the floor for about 20 minutes with it before they decide they want to see it. And now they've accidentally come across the type of material that now they're not going to know how to process that mentally and emotionally. And think about it, when these kids are exposed to that type of material, what's that going to do? And then and you expect them not to act that out?
Oh, good point.
Like that, exactly. Like, think about it. You're fueling these children with all this sexual explicit material, which is going to confuse them mentally, emotionally. It's going to confuse their thoughts. And then what are they supposed to do? Just forget about it? No, they're probably going to get more curious, and then they're going to try to figure out what that means. And then what happens from there when we have these children hurting other children?
Yeah.
Whose fault is that?
Well,
and it all back to this one place at the public library. And I did hear some people in opposition of relocating the books kept saying lawsuits.
Yeah.
Well, you can't forget that you can get lawsuits from the other side when people are telling you over and over, move these books. You don't move these books, and then there's a lawsuit because you didn't move those books. So I really hope that the court wasn't afraid of. I know when they hear the word lawsuit, it might grab their attention just a little bit, but I just want them to understand that the lawsuit can come from the other side as well.
Yeah, and Abilene got rid of all these books because Abilene said that they can be held liable, like you said, for showing children pornography. And these books are basically what that is. So Abilene got rid of the books completely. I want to go to the rebuttals and what they were refuting y'all with. This person in the green talks about, the rights and government overreach, yet she was during the Rona season harassing local private owned businesses about a mask mandate, trying to shut them down and get them fined and get them locked up. She's a hypocrite. But it's pretty interesting that now when they want to use the Constitution and they want to use, they don't want government overreach. They want to use that now at this point when it benefits them. I even heard somebody say that we should honor the library bill of what's it called, Christy? The Bill of Rights for the. You know what? I say this. My Bible supersedes everything. And I don't want to be religious, but I'm going to be religious. That's my final authority. And it seemed like a lot of people that I saw up here, especially some that I've known, they were real quick to cite the Constitution and the Library Bill of Rights, but I didn't hear them one time talk about the Bible, or they would even try to throw shots at the Bible, at our religious freedoms and whatnot. What do you say to people that talk about, they use that word slippery slope? They keep saying that, slippery slope, lawsuits. Like, you know what? Maybe there's a time when we got to take a stand, and they throw these words out there to kind of scare the commissioner's court. Would you agree that they use this kind of language and can to intimidate the court, and or what do you think about them using the Constitution and the Library Bill of Rights and all these other ways they're trying to keep perverted books around children? What do you think about their responses and their arguments for keeping the books there?
Well, so with their arguments that I felt like, so I feel like they had like a couple of main components of the argument. One of them being that it needs to be the parents' responsibility, which we all agree. Like we know that. Like, and then another thing is like, we don't want you telling you how to raise our children. It's like, well, nobody is. And then like another component of their argument, like the main one, is that, this is just a government overreach. And if we try to set up some sort of board that's going to go through all these books, like they're the ones saying like, well, who's going to decide? Well, who's going to decide? Who's this moral authority? Who's going to decide where to put these books are? Which is funny because as it is right now, the moral authority that places the books where they're at is one woman. It's the librarian director.
Good point.
So whether they like it or not, there's somebody has to make that decision. Somebody has to make that. Somebody has to have that moral authority. Now they keep throwing the words slippery slope around, and it is true. And that's why some of these libraries are stuck in the lawsuit. That's why me personally, I feel like the board, the commissioner's board, they shouldn't go about it trying to say, oh, these books are obscene, because it's going to be impossible to prove that they are, even though that, it's pretty obscene.
Even though they are.
But
okay,
to prove it in the court of law that it's obscene, it's almost impossible, because they all offer artistic and literary value.
Okay.
And political value.
So that's why whenever the librarian says, well, none of these books are obscene, she's technically correct on that term. But I feel like we can set a community standard that she has to abide by and say, like, hey, any books that contain sexually explicit material have to be designated to the adult section. You as the librarian, that is your job, and you need to do that. I feel like if they go about it that way, it's going to put the heat on her. It's going to make her responsible for, to do the job correctly. And if she doesn't, well, then next time we meet around, we can be like, hey, these parents got back to us. They said, we found all the books that were brought to your attention. They had sexually explicit material. They were brought to your attention. They filled out the paperwork like you said wanted to be done. It was not done. You're not doing your job. Now you're fired. Now we're going to put out the word like, hey, we're looking for a librarian that fits,
and follows policy.
Fit and follow the policy that the commissioner court has decided. Because I guarantee you, all of them commissioners would vote on that, and I bet you they would all vote the same way, because they've all said it. Like, they all agree that they don't want these books in the children's section, but they just don't know how to go about it to get them out without bringing a lawsuit, because some of them are afraid of a lawsuit. And it's just about getting. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, but I was going to say it's just about getting, the proper, the however you want to call it, proper ruling, the proper mandate by the commissioner's court. And this is where we need to pressure the commissioner's court, because we got to put the pressure on them, because they need to do their job. There's a board that's already supposed to be in place.
Yep.
And they need to fill that. They need to hurry up and do their job, get on top of it, fill it, and we need to get this ball rolling.
For the library board of directors.
Yeah, for the library board of directors. And that board is not filled yet, and it is up to the commissioner's court to do that.
And I feel like the commissioner's court's kind of lacking. Maybe I don't know what the problem is, but ladies and gentlemen that are watching now and on the repeat, let this be a lesson that more than likely, I bet your library's having similar issues. It's already happening on a national level. It's like the Lord showed me. It's like I don't believe in coincidences, but Senator Kennedy, right? Christie was reading. We got a video finna drop about that. He was reading these perverted books and somebody in Illinois wants to keep basically the parents from being able to tell their kids they can't look at this material. So let this show you, ladies and gentlemen, that this is probably happening in your backyard. But I got to be honest, it's somewhat boring. It is, it kind of it's not part of your day. It's an inconvenience to go sit in there, like Pastor Roy Smith said, for a couple hours to go speak, but it's necessary. But this is probably happening, ladies and gentlemen, in your own backyard. We're highlighting this, and this is supposed to be a conservative Bible town, but it's progressing more and more wicked as the days go on. So let this be a lesson, ladies and gentlemen. This is happening again, probably in your city. So I'm glad that we're showcasing this, because you never know, ladies and gentlemen, this could actually be the Lord, I believe, using us or this situation to shed light on a bigger problem across the nation. This ain't just happening in Midland. This is happening in different cities, and it's happening across the nation. Chrissy, would you agree with that? What do you think about that, sis?
Sorry, I had myself muted because, I like to talk a lot. But anyway, no, I completely agree. And I think Senator Kennedy bringing attention to it and all of that, I think that whenever you go into a library, you have designated sections for everything. If you want to go look at something for cooking, for gardening, for do-it-yourself, for romance, for fiction, for whatever, that there's a special place for every book. Nobody is saying to ban, burn, do any of those things, not taking away anybody's, right to their freedoms, but to have them in a designated spot. And I think that shame on Midland for not doing their job in a timely manner and for not holding those people responsible that should have had it done. And that's my opinion.
And real quick, I guess this is just a hot button issue. I want to play this clip real quick, if y'all don't mind. This is Kathy. Okay, she's already they posted her on TikTok. I don't know if you want to, ma'am, if you want to speak a little bit about her, or you don't want to say nothing too much about her, but I'm going to play her clip, because her problem was the woman in the green had information about her and was using it in court. So what do you want to touch on anything about Kathy before I play this clip? Because this she said she went viral on TikTok. They took her picture without her permission. Do y'all want to speak on this real quick, or this situation where she's actually talking about people that are talking about a library card? Can y'all touch on that real quick?
Yeah, if you could play the video, and if I would like to add any comments to it after I hear it.
I'm gonna play it right now. This is Kathy, sweet woman here. I spoke to her, I interviewed her, and she basically had an issue with the people in the court slandering her. And this is a pretty interesting clip right here, y'all. Check it out. She has a fan. Queen Sheba likes Kathy. Let's play this real quick.
I did too.
Judge, I would ask for a few more minutes because I want to discuss the fact that I've been slandered up here by one of the people that spoke earlier.
Uh-oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's your name again?
Kathy Broughton, Maricopa County. I'm sorry, that's where I lived before. Midland County. But listen, this lady said that I went to the library. I'd never had a library book before. A library card, and I got one that day.
I don't think she named a name.
No, she didn't. But it's me she's talking about. And
real quick, ma'am, she's saying that the lady in green, which if you pay taxes in Midland, Texas, Midland County, that library belongs to the taxpayer. But she's saying that the lady said that she didn't have a library card. Can you touch on that real quick?
Yes, I do remember that situation, because the lady in green, if I remember correctly, she had spoke on two different items, and I believe that the second item that she spoke on, she had referred to somebody going to the library with Diane as a volunteer, getting a book, but didn't have a library card. And I remember I remember her saying that person never had a library card. At that time when she was speaking, I didn't know who she was talking about. I don't think anybody in the courtroom knew who she was referring to until that woman that I remember that woman when she went up there. That's when she said she was being slandered by someone in the court. I do remember the judge stating no one said any names, and then she said, "Oh, well, she's talking about me." And she's saying that I've never had a library card. Like, that's none of her business. And I do recall that whole situation, and it seemed more that she was upset that how did this woman, whom she does not know, has or was able to get information on her or about her, and that was a violation of her privacy. That's what it seemed like she was very upset about.
Okay.
Which,
go ahead.
Have the tables been turned, I'm sure you or me or anyone else, we don't like our privacy violated. We don't want people knowing our private information or anything along those sorts. So I can agree with why she was upset. I'm sure she went up there thinking she was going to say a speech or give her point of view, and the next thing she knows, she's being talked about in the court in front of everybody. So I can understand her frustration. She was really blindsided by that.
And I'll play the rest here.
Does it even really matter if she had a library card or not? You can go into any public library anytime you want and sit there and read books all day and not check them out and not have a library card. And if somebody was to ask me right now where my library card is, I couldn't tell you. I have to go in and get a new one also. So, I mean, that was just slanderous. And how did they get that information? It obviously was spread by whoever created that card for her.
Hey, Queen Sheba says, look at the creep. Queen Sheba says, look at the creep reporter behind her. She starts talking about this guy. Basically, these people, right, were following around the volunteers. This is all a salacious situation, y'all. That's why we're bringing this to light, because it's like they're all in cahoots. The media, outside sources, private citizens, like it's all like a big old gumbo of just, it's crazy to say the least. But Queen Sheba said the creep reporter in the back, that's the guy that Kathy said, she talks about in a minute, that he was following her around and harassing her. Why were these people, the media and the woman in green, why were they around these Kathy and everybody? Can you touch on that real quick before I play the rest of the clip?
From my understanding, what I understood was Commissioner Diane, she even explained in the video was that, and you can go back and watch it, it's part of the court hearing, she explained that she went on Saturday with two of her friends to go check out some books. Apparently the lady in the green already had a bunch of people with her there, along with, I believe, that gentleman with the radio already at the library.
Oh, ready to ambush them. I would say they called it a raid. Well, I call them ready to ambush these private citizens. But go ahead. Interesting.
And so that's where that all connects. You know, Diane states at the beginning she went with two friends on Saturday to go rent out some books. Okay. And then it happens to be the radio guy there sitting there happened to be the guy that was waiting for them, along with the girl in the green gown or the green dress, and it just all
an MRT, correct?
I do believe that the Midland Reporter Telegram.
She said that Doreen was there.
Yes, Doreen was there Saturday, but he didn't show up on Monday at the courthouse, which I don't know why. I'm surprised because MRT has been very vocal on their Facebook page in support of
we'll talk about
leaving, or in support of these people who are against moving the books. If you go to their Facebook page, I know one of my friends personally, she was expressing herself on their comments of their post, and she was explaining why she felt like the book should be moved. She was blocked and she couldn't comment and she couldn't reply to anything anymore.
Wow.
I think I have about maybe 5 friends who have already told me that they've been blocked from the MRT Facebook page.
They deleted every comment that I had except for one. And thank goodness I took screenshots of all the ones that I did.
And Chrissy's gonna talk about that in a minute, y'all. I think she has something else she's gonna say about him. But MRT is the only newspaper in Midland, Texas. All my friends are blocked. Shout out all my Christian Trumpers and constitutionalists in Midland. We're all blocked on the Midland Reporter Telegram's page, y'all. So that's kind of weird, right? That the local newspaper, the only one in Midland, is blocking people with opposing views. So let me go and finish this clip real quick. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. No, you're fine.
Okay, here we go.
It's okay.
I don't like the fact that she's coming in and bringing things in that should not be discussed. Someone from their group took a picture of me in the library and posted it on TikTok. This young man here with the radio followed me around the thing, trying to ask me questions, even though I told him I had no comment. I am not a volunteer at the library. No, I did not fill out the form. I went there as a concerned mother and grandmother. I do not like what's happening in Midland County. I don't like these issues. I don't like people who sit on the council here and smirk and smile and laugh to people that like me. I don't like it. It's not right. And I don't like someone coming up and saying, I've never had a library card. She came in that day and got a library card. No, I have one. It has expired.
That's private information.
What?
That's your private information.
Well, I thought it was.
Okay.
But, I mean, this is not right. This is not right. Why is she saying things and bringing it into the court record?
How does she even know what books were pulled? How does she have
Okay.
access?
Okay.
No.
We can't get into this.
What?
Kathy was fired up.
Yeah. You can go ahead and speak, Kathy. You got 2 minutes, and then we've got to.
What? I can't hear you. I'm sorry, Judge.
Okay. We'll have to deal with it later. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Huh?
Can you hear me? Okay. We'll have to deal with it later.
Okay, I'm just saying that I was not there to cause trouble. I was there because I am concerned.
Okay.
And for people who are worried about vetting people who are working on this project, I have a master's degree in elementary education.
Okay.
So from Arizona State University, if you want to go check that out.
Okay.
That's great. That's
Yeah, that's
Kathy,
great.
no,
So
that's
don't be talking about people that are trying to help.
That's the
Okay.
kind of information that we wanted.
Okay.
That's all we're saying. That's the kind of
Listen, I
information we
checked out a
wanted.
book and I looked it up on Lit Books.
Wow, they get somebody to escort her out. Wow.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
And see,
I'll tell you. Wow.
I feel like hearing that, I feel really like I feel bad for Judge Johnson because he wasn't trying to make her feel bad or anything like that. I don't feel I guess the words aren't feeling bad, but I do kind of feel bad for him because he was trying to just diffuse the situation, and Kathy was that woman that you said in the video. She was very upset, and I don't think she meant to take her frustration out like on the judge or at the.
She was just mad
towards him. No, I don't think she meant to like express herself that way towards him. She was just very, very, very. She felt violated. She really felt violated.
That woman in the green. She does that.
Lady in the green and all of her little buddies that were in there with her went in and created that tension just so it would look like that we were
Unhinged.
right-side radicals, unhinged, trying to ban and burn these books and all that, and got her into the state that they wanted people to be into.
Someone said, why should she get escorted out? Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, Kathy, if you're out there, my people want to hear from you. Kathy, I would love to. I won't cut you off, ma'am. I will give you the platform. Kathy, if you're listening, I will let you speak on Nino Radio. I will never cut you off. So that's my invitation for Kathy. If she ever wants to give her side of the story and tell why she doesn't like these books, our people like Kathy, and it was a shame how they treated her, and it's a shame how that woman in the green is basically doxing and harassing private citizens, and she has their info. And then the lady works at the hospital. Her husband works at the hospital. So I I already made a statement. I don't ever want to go to Miller Memorial because I don't trust that hospital, especially with people like this that work there, that have knowledge of, I would believe, about private citizens. They've showed it here. I don't want to ever go to Miller Memorial Hospital, and I'll leave it at that. Go ahead, y'all. I'm sorry. It's crazy.
Oh no, you're fine. And this is the silly thing about it is, whether Kathy has a library card or not, it doesn't make a difference because her tax dollars still go to funding that library. So she has every right to be there in that library if she wants to check out a book or not. If she has a card or not, she has the right to be there, and she has the right to speak her voice on how she feels about these inappropriate books being in the children and youth section. She said herself, she's there as a mother and she's there as a grandmother. Whether she had a card or not is irrelevant. And she does have a card, just so that everybody understands. She has a card, and she had, I don't know, like, I have to, if anybody was to go and hear me at the library desk, they would think that I'm getting a new card every other week, because if my kid loses their card, I'm having to get another one. They might think that, oh, she's barely getting a card. No, ma'am, I'm having to replace one that my kid lost for the third time. You know what I'm saying? So you can't be making assumptions and then going to court and using it as facts, because then it's going to look really dumb.
It was like slander. But real quick, Cynthia says that was Ramsey. Pastor Roy Smith brought it up. Kathy brought it up. I saw it. This guy, Ramsey, Precinct 1, was smirking at the people. Okay? Can y'all touch on that? Did y'all catch that? I caught him when he made his opening statement. He basically, what he had heard, he's regurgitating the fake news that people raided the library for these books. This guy, Ramsey, rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Is that a fair statement? What are y'all's thoughts about Ramsey and him smirking in there? Do you think there's validity to Pastor Roy Smith and Kathy saying that he was smirking at people? I believe I saw him smirking in there. Go ahead.
Yes, I mean, we were there, and you could definitely see that he was smiling at them, which, I know Pastor Roy, he surely didn't like it, especially speaking about something serious, and maybe they have some history. I don't know. But definitely came out a couple of times.
And then what I didn't like was how the narrative of the volunteers was painted so poorly by the Miller and Porter Telegram.
That's the next topic.
How somebody in such an important position like Ramsey just took that narrative.
Can y'all explain who Ramsey is? Some people in the comments are asking who is Ramsey, and I'm not even sure if I know who Ramsey is.
He's a guy right here on the left. I'll point him out. He's right here. Oh, I ain't got my arrow. He's on the left. If y'all looking right now, he's right there. Hold on real quick, y'all. Hold on. Ramsey is a gentleman on the far left. And to be honest, when I heard him speak, he sounded dumb in my opinion. This guy sounded uninformed. Even whenever they're doing proposals on water and water well drilling permits, this guy was trying to raise a vote for something that wasn't even part of the procedure. That guy, Ramsey, the far left, if you look at the screen, he sounded very ignorant. I don't know how this guy has his position. That's just my honest opinion. But I saw him handling other cases in the city's matters. And I think everybody kind of looked at him like, man, what are you talking about? He seemed very ignorant and uninformed, in my opinion. If you're looking at the screen, he's the top left Ramsey. That's who he is. And he's basically on the, on the side of the people that are for these books. I believe that's who he is. But real quick, Christy, you know about the MRT. Let's go ahead and dive into the MRT situation. If y'all want to give a statement about that real quick, or Christy could take it over, because I know Christy's ready to talk about MRT. Go ahead.
The only thing that I wanted to say in regards to MRT is I just don't have any faith in them for true, authentic news, because had I not had or seen firsthand this experience happening with people that I know, people that volunteer, people that have commented and told them, hey, what you said about me is wrong. This is what I said. And they still choose to leave the misreported information. And you can go through their comments and you can see where people are like, hey, this is me. I'm the one. Fix this. This is what I said. And they just leave it. That's people. If people are going to read the the news, the Midland Reporter Telegram News, make sure that you're checking your facts, that you're not reporting incorrect information, because before you know it, what you say is not going to retain any water and no one's going to read it. It's going to be junk.
So the way that I want to respond to that is, as an outsider reading the article for the first time, the way that I read that article is that you all were a bunch of Looney Tunes and that you wanted to burn these books. I read where they quoted people, not in a way that was disparaging to you all, more in a way that it applied to you all, that you were Nazis, that you were fascists, that you were racist, that you were the Burning Book Mom Club, more words that we can't use on YouTube. And it was absolutely disgusting. I know that I was blocked from MRT, and then I guess they unblocked me. Every message that I have sent, except for one to some lady, I can't remember what her name was. I can look that up while we're talking. Except the one that I responded to her has been deleted off of MRT. MRT responded to me personally last night to the point that for me to say that I'm going to make my own video towards somebody, Nino was like, ooh, wow, because I was going to respond to MRT. I have never seen such a one-sided newspaper in my life. I think that whatever his name is, Doreen Stewart, whatever his name is, needs to be held out and called out. He said that if anybody had problems with the way that his articles were reported, they needed to call and let him know. I plan on making that call tomorrow. Ooh. I'm going to do my best to video myself making that call tomorrow. I'm going to call him out. I'm going to ask him what kind of news he really publishes, why it had to slant towards somebody just wanting to rehome these books into a different area. And I think what he has allowed, I think the favoritism that he has shown is absolutely and utterly disgusting. MRT should not even be considered a newspaper. He needs to be called out, and everybody needs to call him out along with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all's thoughts, go ahead.
Yeah, and I believe I agree with what you're saying. I have friends that were the volunteers, and I know those volunteers, the majority of those volunteers, and they're not ignorant people. They have degrees. They're educators, they're ex-educators. They're not just random people just going in and doing raids and don't know what they're doing. They're very smart.
Yep, I'm glad you brought that up, because those were the one things that I noticed the most that were missing off of MRT is I wanted to know why they wanted to dox the volunteers, why they wanted names of the volunteers and the phone numbers and addresses so bad. And the one lady that responded yesterday said, well, you seem to know the volunteers so well, you can let them know, da 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 da. So I didn't respond to that. But it is absolutely disgusting what the MRT has done. MRT even said that they wanted the names and numbers of the volunteers. I think that is terrible.
And that was in black and white. That was in the article.
Nino and I got into an argument over it. I mean, not an argument. It wasn't an argument. We got into a back and forth. He was like, Christy, they did not say that. I said, yes, they did, Nino. And I found the post where he had went back and said that they wanted the names, numbers, and addresses, and that the community deserved to have those things of the people that were volunteering at a library, pulling books off the shelf just to rehome to another area.
Christy, why Christy, let's be honest.
Calling for a public doxing.
That's what I was going to say. Why do you think MRT was calling for the names? You just said it, to dox people. You think so?
Absolutely. To put businesses out there, to put their relationships with other people out there, to see what their political affiliation is, to see what their religious affiliation is. I think he is a disgusting. If he is running that newspaper, he is doing a terrible job at journalism. Okay. I have never seen such one-sided stuff in my entire life.
Ma'am, also, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Okay. I would also like to add that Ramsey, whenever he was making his opening statement on the matter, that he also brought up, we don't know who these people are, we don't know what qualifications they have. like to them, like to the court, like they want to know who's honestly qualified to figure out, what's sexually explicit or not. And it's just like it goes beyond me, because it don't take a rocket scientist to sit there and see, I mean, I wish I could say what we saw in the books, but it's pretty sexually explicit. But it's just kind of like, come on, how qualified do you honestly need to be like, okay, this is not appropriate for a 12-year-old?
Yes, if a child saw it, they would know it's not appropriate for themselves. Why do they need somebody with qualifications to deem that as valid? Like a kid could come across that book and be like, yeah, this isn't right. A kid would know. Why do they need a qualified person to point that out? And in regards to MRT, the reason why I think that they wanted to dox whoever those volunteers were was because I might be just, assuming, but I did notice, and I'm sure everyone else has noticed because it was mentioned in the comments, that they quoted a girl over and over in almost their articles. They quoted her in their own article, and then they put an article up. They let her put out her own article, and maybe that has to do with why they want the information. They probably want to dox somebody because that's what somebody else wants. I have no idea.
Wow.
That's just me just making just a wild guess, because it's all laid out there. It's all online. People have already taken screenshots. Everybody can just go there and just read it and make their own assumptions, and make sure you go through and read the comments, because you can see where there are people, they're saying, hey, I'm the volunteer, and this is how I feel about it. This is what I said, and you're quoting me wrong, and you've misspoken for me. And why are you quoting the same person all the time? Are you guys really good friends? I think somebody had made that comment.
Well, hold on real quick.
You know what?
Hold on. Chris, hold on. Okay. All right, guys. Kathy wants to call in. I don't know if we have time. Do y'all have time to put her on, or do y'all have to run? I know we're already almost at the hour.
Yeah, no, I have time. I can. Do you want me to call her?
Can you get her on the phone? If you can do so, we would appreciate that. But go ahead, Christy.
I was just going to say, no, that's absolutely right, because one of the messages that I put to the MRT yesterday was somebody said after Heather Bredemus's opinion in there, something about why is there only one opinion on this subject in there, and they said, well, we asked so-and-so to write an opinion. I said, so you only ask one person?
Wow.
And all of that was deleted from the MRT post.
Are you not blocked, Christy?
No, they unblocked me, but they deleted everything but one comment of mine on there.
Interesting.
And that's under the opinion post of Heather Bredemus, where I said, shame on you, Heather. Nobody is trying to burn books and all that. I mean, people can read it. It's under her opinion. But everything else, like, I think I sent you a screenshot of a pretty long paragraph last night of everything that I had responded back to this, whatever her name is. I can't remember.
Hello. Oh, we lost the calls, y'all. Let me get them back on. Well, Chrissy will call back. She knows what to do. Wow. Lisa says this. Guys, I am telling you this. I've been on the trail of various people, throughout the city and organizations. There's corruption in this town. And they're all connected, I believe. Lisa says this. Thank you. I just looked it up, and it seems that MRT is owned by the Hearst Corporation. Big money. I agree. It might be worth notifying them that one of their subsidiaries is harassing citizens. Ultimately, it may affect their bottom line, and they may come down on MRT. Unless they're the blue-haired leftist lunatics that we deal with. Let's hear this woman real quick, y'all.
People were allowed to look up pornography on the computers in the library, and she said no, which is how it should be. none of the books that have been discussed have been found to be obscene or pornography in a court of law. None of them. It's all about everybody's opinion. And speaking of opinion, some of the books that were pulled in the last couple of weeks were books about rainbows, books about My Two Dads and Me, books about the hips on the drag queen go swish, 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 which sounds like fun. Auntie Uncle, drag queen hero.
They want to push the drag queen agenda. This woman says she sees nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with a child seeing a man with a beard and a dress dancing, sometimes stripping in front of children. My question is this, y'all. I say in a year it'll happen, but when will the Midland County Public Library allow drag queen story time? I believe within a year, that's going to come down the pipeline. These people think that it's okay. They think this is normal. They're promoting degeneracy and filth and disgusting, death styles. They think that's normal. It is not.
It's a community library. It serves the whole community. I hope I'm not surprising anybody, but there are LGBTQ members of this community. There are children in this community who have two dads. There are children in this community who have two moms. There are children in this community who will have a family member that likes to dress up in drag on the weekend. Those children need to be served too. Those children need to read books that reflect their lives. And because some...
You there?
Yes. Do you want me to call Christy's number back or your number?
Can you go ahead and call Christy back? Did you have Kathy on the line or she's not available? We can probably get her another time.
No, I have her on the line. Did you want me just to bring her back or do you want to talk to her a different time?
Can you merge Christy and her or that's not possible?
Yeah, I can. Just tell Christy to answer her phone.
Okay.
Because I called her and she didn't answer.
Go ahead and merge.
Okay.
Wow, we're fixing to get Kathy, ladies and gentlemen. This is kind of an interesting situation. Yeah, Roxanne. Who knows? So, ladies and gentlemen, basically, this is just a rundown. All this stuff is online. I'll put a link in the description of the actual footage where you can hear these people give their statement, hear us give our statement, and there it is, right? So let's wait till we get this call back. It's impromptu live right here, y'all. Thank you for staying with us this long. This is a hot button issue in Midland, Texas, and we are not taking it lightly, and we're not going to just lay down and let them just trample all over us. The Christians are fed up. The Patriots are fed up. The regular everyday citizens and parents and grandparents in Midland, Texas are fed up, and we're not going to let this just happen on our watch, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? So with that, let's see if we can get them back on the line, and then we'll go from there. Exactly. See, this is what they thought they'd do. Try to invalidate filth by claiming we are anti. Yeah, we already know. We know their playbook very well. We know how they operate and how they go about doing things. So there it is. Let me see here if we can get these people. Christy back on the line. Okay, there's Christy. You there? Christy.
Let me call back into back. I don't know. I guess it disconnected me, but hold on one second.
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
If not, we can talk to Kathy another time. We're already at the hour, so if they can't get her on the line, that's fine.
She was on the. Hold on. Just hold on.
Okay.
Person and their group of friends finds this to be offensive doesn't mean that those children should not be served in their community. I
got a question. How many children is that? I wonder.
Hey, it's Christy. You're probably going to have to call her back now. My phone, whenever you tried to connect the first time, it disconnected everything.
Well, it's fine. You know what? We're here at the hour. We'll call her back another time if y'all don't mind. Let's go ahead and wrap it up with our final closing thoughts. We'll talk to Kathy. I want to give Kathy her own full segment if y'all don't mind. Y'all fine with that?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll give you her number.
Okay.
I'll give you her number, and then you can call her. I think she's actually still on hold, holding on the other line.
Oh, unless can we click her? However you want to do it. I think we already got it.
Does it show you that you can merge it with ours?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I think.
If y'all can't merge it, we'll just
Yeah.
we'll close it down here. We'll wind it down.
Yeah, I had.
Go ahead.
Okay, hold on.
Oh, here I come up to speak. I kind of think I didn't do too good. I was kind of nervous, but to be honest, I wasn't gonna speak, ladies and gentlemen. I think my presence was felt, but I basically just called up the corruption and whatnot.
You do good in those type of situations, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty nerve wracking though. You're in front of there, a lot of lights, people looking at you. They got a microphone, But I basically just called up the corruption. I'm gonna clip this and show this to my people later. I'm basically just talking about how I feel like the legalities of someone knowing someone's private info. We know about doxing. We know how detrimental that can be to somebody's, financial situation and personal life. So I speak on that. I touch on the corruption in Midland, and I say basically this has already been ruled on. Get the book, do their job. Ramsey kept saying we live and die by policy. We'll enforce the policy then. Get the books, put them in the adult section, and we'll all go about our business. That's basically what I said on here. So like I said, I'll clip that out later so my people can hear my full statement. Y'all there?
Yeah, we're here. We're here.
Can y'all get her on or y'all can't?
Okay.
It's fine.
Well, no, for some reason, when we got her on with Christy, we were able to merge her on with Christy, and then Christy's mic started echoing.
Okay, it's fine. We'll wrap it up. Hey, we got somebody all about her. Who is that? Who I think it is? But she says these books are ridiculous. The book called Let's Talk About It shows teens how to master and how to use sex toy. Okay, yeah, that is that book. Okay, let's go ahead and wind this down. I don't know. I think that's Chingo Bling's wife. It might be her. Maybe I'm wrong. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I can't really see from this far. But anyways, closing statements. What do y'all think? And if that's her, hey, God bless you. Thanks for watching. Basically, y'all, what we're talking about is the books in Midland, Texas. The policy's not being enforced. Lunatic librarians and maskers and blue-haired liberals and other such are basically want books that aren't even for adults, I believe. They want this bill to be pushed to children. Y'all's final words on the conclusion of this whole meeting. How do y'all think it went? Where do we go from here? Go ahead.
Well, not as far as like this past commissioner court session went, there wasn't any progress. So we're at the same spot we were in August 14th. So like I said, it's up to us. We need to put the pressure on them. They need to get that board filled out. Once they get that board filled out, we can get the process going again. And then we just and then also they're going to work on the community policy as well. But all in all, I mean, it was definitely positive because the community came out and said what they had to say. It was just great to hear that, and I'll let my wife get the final word.
Okay, brother.
Okay, and I just want to encourage everybody, despite what you see online, what you read in your local MRT, don't let that fear make you feel like you can't speak up or that you can't say what you stand for, because online those people are very loud and they're very pushy. They can be very mean in the comment section. Yes. That's true. But once you go to the courthouse, it's not that many people showing up. Once you're in the courthouse, that's when you hear the strength and you see the numbers in the people and in favor of what's doing right for the youth in our community. And I just wanted to give that encouragement that it can seem, you know, the odds are against you online, but the people who are standing for the youth in our community, it's a large number, and they're strong people. They know exactly what they're standing for, and it's for their children, it's for their nieces, their nephew, their grandchildren. It's for the other kids that don't have somebody standing for them. That's what fuels them, and that's what's keeping them going. And as a community, I truly believe that we are better and that we can do better. And that's what I wanted to just make sure you guys understood, that if you didn't get to go speak on Monday, when this item is on the agenda, make sure you go. And even if you don't have, you get kind of nervous and you don't want to get up there and speak, just go in and support somebody who is going to go and speak and say the things that you want them or that you believe in. Just go show your support that way, because that's where it counts.
Okay, and before I hand it over to Christy, my final thoughts for this is this. It was a great thing to see the community rally around this situation. The commissioners even agree, man, these books, at least put them in the adult section. I don't know why anybody would think it's okay for a child to be seeing this kind of explicit material. It's just common sense. Take the Bible, take the politics out of it. Let's talk about morality, okay? Doing what's right. So again, I was pleased to see the whole community, a lot of people come out there. I met a lot of great people, and it, like the brother on the line said, it's good to see even opposing views, right? Let's be honest. We preach free speech for all, even opposing opposition and whatnot, opposing thoughts and whatever they believe. We believe our side, but it's good to see us having public discourse, speaking about this. And if you want change, y'all, this is how you have to do it. You can't just go take somebody behind, out there and have old fashioned, raw. It don't work like that. You got to go through these proper channels and procedures in order to enact change. And with that, Christy, final word before we end the live. Go ahead, sis.
I think that you hit pretty much on. I would say, as far as the morality, my words are that a book shouldn't raise your child anyway. You should know exactly what your child's doing, where they are, what books. You should know their teachers. You should know everything and every person that is around your child. One last statement is shame on MRT for the discord that they have caused for people that were trying to do the right thing. And Stuart will be getting a call from me tomorrow.
Okay. And with that, y'all, thanks for joining us. Check out the other videos we did. We got some more content coming along the way, y'all. Thank you for giving us your time. Again, this is an important issue because I'm telling you, if it's happening here in a conservative town, it's happening across the nation, and they're already talking about it on a national level. I saw it today. They're talking about these books in a whole other state, and they have a fight going as well. So with that, y'all, thanks for joining us. To my guests, thank you, Christy, everybody in the chat. God bless y'all. Thanks for joining us. You're an American. You're a patriot. You got grit. Act like it. We're out.